Got this under the Caprice.
So totally true to form, we're using, as I said, literal junk that I have lying around the shop. This is the worst supercharger that we have, and it's going on Sam. Part of the blower is a little bit locked up right there, and we can get it to twist and rotate. There we go. So yeah, we got to take apart the rotors. A screw actually went through this blower and it messed up the rotors. So we're just gonna send it. This thing's been broken and welded up and whatever, and it is the ugliest, junkiest blower that we have. And we're gonna run with that. So we're gonna be able to see what we have here, and what better to start on but the worst one that you got. We're gonna see how much power we can make with the biggest pile of junk that we can, and then it'll get better as we go. So this is ported out to a 102. We can put that 102 millimeter throttle body on there. This is actually pressed in, so this is a 2.55 Lingenfelter pulley. Look at that, it says Lingenfelter right there, all messed up. We'll press this off and we can put on our 231 pulley, so we'll be able to give you guys kind of a before and after with you know, whatever boost we're going to run. It should probably be somewhere about 11 pounds with a 2.55 pulley, and hopefully we can get up to maybe about 13 and a half pounds with the 231. Okay, so we got this blower, I believe, actually for free from a customer that had done an assembly on a blower, and he dropped a screw in the intake of his CTSV. And yeah, well, his garbage is our gain, I guess, so we'll see how it goes. So this blower is officially toe up from the flow up. Listen to that. Love that aluminum to aluminum sound right there. Oh yeah. Oh. That's gonna sound so awful. This is gonna be the worst sounding blower ever. Man. I wonder if we're actually going to be able to make boost.
Yeah, when I spun it, it actually sucked the tape in.
All right, so you can definitely see that there was a screw that had went through there, and kind of one of the things that aluminum does is it basically does well do itself, but it's like once a little piece chips off and you have a tight clearance, then it starts to gather more aluminum. And basically it's so darn soft that the thing just kind of folds over on itself. Like you can really see that kind of there. So let's check out the progress of what we got going on here. This is a part. We pulled off our intake manifold. We got our thermal plates there. As we showed you guys a little earlier, we have our pulleys. We still got to order this one more pulley in order to make this all work. We're really pretty close. We can actually bolt down the supercharger in the next maybe hour or so, and we'll be moving along with that. So we got to figure out how we're going to run our hoses and lines and whatnot. I think we're going to have to make a little bit of a relief here on our cowl where our wiper and all that little plastic junk was, but we're going to address it as it comes. All right, we have a list, and we're going to go down the list and be able to address all the other things. So we don't have our fuel pump in yet. That is going to be an interesting thing on how we're going to address that. I have never actually taking a car that's like this and try to use the existing parts. So we're using the evap line, which was for the charcoal canister and all the fuel vapors go through. We're going to delete the charcoal canister, run a straight piece of line from that because it goes into the fuel tank. So all of that stuff is already there and existing. We're going to use that as the return style. Yes, I know it's small, and yes, we're going to run into a limitation at somewhere, but it very much keeps us very close to our budget. So we have our Walbro 525 liter per hour pump going in the tank. We're going to have to cut an access panel, or all the rear subframe is going to drop. We're going to change out the axle because we had another axle from a Camaro, so it has the skinnier axle, has the thicker axle. That's supposed to also help with the wheel hop. While we're there, we drop the tank, we put the big pump in the tank, and we're going to have to run our line, delete the charcoal canister. We're going to have our regulator here, so we'll have a boost referenced regulator here. So this is extremely important here on the boost reference regulator. If we make 11 pounds of boost and we have a commanded 58 pounds of fuel pressure, because of the rise in pressure and pushing against that, it is dropping 11 pounds in the rail. So just as our demand for fuel has gone up, our supply has gone down. So again, 58 pounds is what we'd have commanded. We would actually have 47. That being said, with the boost reference regulator, we're now going to go to 69 pounds of fuel pressure. 69 pounds of pressure is way the heck better than 47. We'll be able to meet the demand of fuel. So just as our demand has gone up, we have risen to the occasion with 69 pounds of pressure. Those are just arbitrary figures that I pulled out of my head. Okay, so this was our cold air before. As it were sitting, it was down in here, so like this. And when we're done, we're gonna just run our CTSV cold air intake that we have on our V2. So we have a large elbow that goes down into there, and we're probably gonna end up running it in speed density. We are going to run a 3-bar map sensor. So we're gonna run the ZR1 and or ZL1 map sensor, all that. That's the toxic orange label that goes on the blower there. So, all right, let's talk about some tuning strategy here too. So this is our mass airflow, and as you can see, that is a small bottleneck in the whole greater scheme of things, right? Big, small, big. And we don't want that small little mass air in the way. Now we could probably modify this mass air or stick it in some sort of, we could stick it in our CTSV cold air intake, which we may do. But we also might tune it in speed density. We're just gonna have to wait and see how it goes. Why would you tune it in speed density? For accuracy of pressure. So speed density is based on pressure, okay? So if we're at 2 pounds of boost, it knows the difference between 2 pounds and 2.5 pounds, 3 pounds to 20 pounds. It has a calibration for that amount of pressure, okay? Usually when you go into higher boost levels, speed density is the way to go. Most OEMs run mass air, and a lot of them have a redundancy, kind of a speed density and mass air calculation, and it just makes a better, cleaner overall setup. That's the way GM does it. So the mass air is very good for naturally aspirated and some boosted applications, especially if it's a draw through positive displacement supercharger. The mass curve is very linear, it's very clean, it's very smooth. It works out really, really nicely. If we don't want to have the restriction of the mass air, we're probably going to want to run speed density. Now we can run a 4.5-inch tube. I would like to keep this thing very much like a CTSV because they tune so nicely, so cleanly, and a ZL1. It's the same type of engine management. So we'll try and do that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So our heat exchanger is going to go right in here just like a, wow, actually might not even have to move anything out to get it out. Factory heat exchanger is going to go right in here. We'll run that. This is actually Leroy's old one, and this one came off a CTSV that we had on well before that. Super simple. We're going to have a lot of volume and cooling capacity. The routing is also extremely crucial on that too. So guys, if you are running something, kind of think of it like what's in the blower is the hottest. It comes out of the blower, it goes across the heat exchanger, it gets cooled down, then it goes back to the tank, and it somewhat cools on the way back, and then it cools in that larger reservoir, and then it goes back to the blower again. So there is a cycle to that. And what we do on these CTSVs is it comes out of the blower, it goes to the reservoir, then it goes to the heat exchanger, and then back again. So the routing is crucial. You want to have one heat knockdown and then another heat knockdown, and then it works out really, really good. So we're really opting for the route of efficiency. I think that our Walmart trunk tank is going to be a stellar hit. That is absolutely brilliant idea, and I'm really excited to do it. I've heard of people doing it before, but that is going to be one of the best money-saving ideas that we have going on here, and it's going to work absolutely killer. Thanks, James.
They're off the balance.
The tight tolerances have been compromised.
Yeah.
Junk blower problems.
Smack the toolbox. Rotate that blower that way. There you go.
Trying to bring this one back from the dead.
Oh, God.
Stay lube. Stay fresh, little blower.
It's been so much faster than normal.
All right, now reverse. Oh, so much better. It's time to put the blower on. Finally. All these preparations. Preparation H, Georgie. Get one hand. got the others.
We haven't had an LSA snout on here. You realize that, right?
Hmm?
We haven't had an LSA snout on here.
Oh, my fingers behind there.
Oh.
That feels nice.
That feels real nice. Looks real good under there. Can I get a heck yeah? Heck yeah!
Might have bumped it a hair.
I think you bumped it more than a hair.
A long
You
hair.
bumped it up really lot.
Mine just went in.
Your bolt?
Yep.
For you. Well, we guessed that the belt from our CTSV stuff would be correct. So we don't have the correct pulley, but we put in something that was pretty close. All right, we got to strip this wire back for the throttle body, maybe even extend it to go over on that way. We're trying to get the injectors in there. We might have to pull the coil packs in order to get that in. That looks like that's probably going to have to happen. Coil packs, and we're trying to get something made up with this feller right here so we can get our brake booster line. We've got our map sensor over on the lid coming together. We thought we were going to be able to stick a 90mm idler on there just because we have tons of them, and it actually, I think stock was a 76mm. This one right here looks like it's about maybe a 60mm. There's just something we had sitting around, and kind of guessed that the belt was going to be an 8PK 1650. That's kind of a normal belt for a 2.5 pulley with the thermal plates, and just so happens to work just right. We've got our throttle body wiring. We had to strip this back. It's going to be in the way of the pulley, so we're going to have to find some way to address that. We've got to extend our map sensor harness. This has to go over on the other side. Our map sensor is going to mount somewhere right here, so yeah, this is going to have to be extended a little bit there. We got to get our injectors in, and we have to probably pull the coil packs in order to get that in. Looks like the top of the coil pack is going to be in the way, but we'll find a way to make all that mount. We've got some coil pack remote mount deal that we have sitting for like years that we can probably run. Probably shed another pound or two since we're adding about 70 pounds from the front of the car. So we're adding a good amount of weight, but it is for a totally worthy cause. You know, if we add, let's just say about 125 pounds with all the blower stuff, but we're adding about 240 horsepower and 240 pound-feet of torque, you do it if you're ready to make power, yeah. Okay, so check this out. Scrounged up some lid bolts, got our intake air temperature sensor in there that needs to be tightened up. We're extending our map sensor harness. Before we were just checking on vacuum. Now we're going to be able to read boost, so I'll be able to accurately say how much boost we're making. And we have got everything somewhat positioned okay, trying to stay out of the way of all the pulleys. We cleared, well, we got some really nice sweet zip ties right there, so we're avoiding the pulley there. Oh, we got our MPP hooked up too. I forgot about that. That's pretty cool. So this opens and closes our exhaust. We got our boost reference for the bypass valve. Got our injectors in. Didn't have to change the coil packs. That all worked out really good. We're getting very, very, very close. This is basically just a preliminary crank. We're not gonna have all the other stuff. We got a lot to do still, but this is just a crank so that we can kind of check everything out. So it's gonna happen hopefully very, very shortly. We're just trying to get off all the major weight savings. So here we go. Oh man, yeah, there's weight savings because we don't need all them sensors. We do need those sensors. Okay, super common question that everybody has. Is it gonna clear the hood? In this case, we were just cutting stuff out anyway, but we have absolutely no problem with hood clearance. We checked it, and we got probably about 1.5 inches there. So we're totally, totally good. We're gonna have to see about the cowl stuff, but absolutely no problem with the hood here. There was no problem with the dent. See this inner golf ball webbing? That was all engineered for like when cops roll over on this on purpose. So, yeah, the engineers built that into possible scenarios. So cool. Happy with that. He's coming around. What you got there, Laz?
Look what we got here.
Special delivery.
The car keys.
Oh yeah, those things are so light. So what do we calculate? They're about 16 pounds for everything, I think. Yeah, that's crazy, crazy light. So
it's like 44 pounds off the stock.
Yeah, something like that. So that's the goal. Those are going to go in pretty shortly here. So check out this redneck frugality, if that is a word. So as I said before, I wanted like an $850 trunk tank. I was really lusting after it. I was like, oh, it's so pretty, I want it. But you know what? It's not gonna be in the budget, not gonna fit the budget. So this is gonna be redneck frugality. So check it out. Here is our Walmart wannabe Yeti trunk tank that we haven't drilled holes in yet, but we're going to. Look at this pump that I ordered off of Amazon. This is a Rule 3700. Just to give you an idea, it's a little larger than I had anticipated. So this is an 1.5-inch outlet. I might have even ordered the wrong one, but we're gonna deal with it, okay? So we're gonna reduce this down to 3/4. And I think we're gonna try and get some suction cups. Go stuck that around right there. And I have a drill little hole somewhere for our wires to come out. We also got to figure out, we're going to have a 4-gallon tank for the methanol. So the alky control methanol tank is going to go back here somewhere. And really, in the interest of drag racing and all that, we're trying to keep most of the weight right near the rear axle. That is really what we want, so that we can have maximum traction. So we haven't figured out exactly, we might have to build a subfloor, something that's going to stick under there and kind of keep this up there. We'll have a little petcock. Let it be able to take a pee out right there. We're gonna be able to dump out the water, and somehow, some way here we'll be able to have our methanol tank, but we haven't figured out the dimension or what it's going to look like yet. So we're kind of just roughly mocking things up at the moment. We do have this extra battery in here. We're probably going to remove that. That is about 55, 60 pounds. That is going to go goodbye. We gotta run our hoses from the back all the way to the front. I'm gonna stick this puppy in the mill, and we're going to punch some 7/8-inch holes in it for the 3/4-inch hose. The 60 suction pumps on the bottom, try and semi-permanently mount that. Got to get a reducer going out there, and our inlet will probably come back here. Might need a slightly bigger hole. What's inside a wannabe Yeti? Let's take a look. Kind of got some foam and just some plastic. Looks pretty much what I expected. We gotta have our out, and I think that's still a little bit small, so we'll see. And our return should be up here, so we're gonna do that. Outlet, we got our inlet, we got our, we gotta have our drain too. So I think we might just have like a little ball valve T on the return possibly, so that minimize the amount of holes that we have coming in and out. Just trying to keep it really simple. So we'll do it like that. All right, so what time is it? It's 11:52. Put in a good, hard, long day here. Them much more than me. And we've been working this pretty hard here. So I drove the car here running a few hours ago, and this is as far as we can go here and now. The rest of the stuff is where we really tear everything apart. And this is gonna be the first startup. So we're watching everything, got our map sensor reading, got everything, and here we go. Like a bucket of bolts. That sounds great to me. It's like, oh man, got a little fuel leak. We're good. We're good. That's working. That's great, man.
You didn't like that.
I just covered the mass airflow. I was like, it's that sensitive. Wow. It's alive. It's alive. It's alive. Good job. Good job. Yeah. It's alive. So no intercooler, no fuel pump yet. We got a set of injectors that we had sitting around just to try and fire it up. Done. Look at this. Our belt works. Got here, let's rev it real quick here. Let's see if we can make like 8 pounds of boost. Okay. I know I'm a little abusive right there, but I just wanted to see what it's gonna do. Here, let's look at that real fast. Right about 10 pounds of boost right there. So just on a quick little throttle rip. That is nasty. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a lot of fun. Finally, Sam has grown a pair of cojones there and he's ready to go rip the streets, okay? It's gonna be great. That's looking good. So these are just, like I said, these are just some junk injectors that we had sitting around. We're going to have our good injectors coming in a couple days. I'll have to kind of overnight some stuff in. But this is as far as we can go today. And stay tuned for the next edition of stuff. We're going to kind of show you how we do the fuel system and what we're doing with the trunk tank and all that. That is a major part of this whole thing. So we got some pretty interesting redneck engineering coming up for you. It is going to be awesome. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you. We will see you in the next edition of this, and stay tuned. This is going to get better as we go. This is getting to be a lot of fun here. See you later.
Jericho, come. This is such a jerk.